There's a lot of shit out there. I think everyone can agree on that. So I've decided to make this little series, Shit and Shitter, where we're going to go through some of the big shits out there. So, what are we doing our first episode on today? That's Spongebob episode. What a pick and mix. There are so many to choose from. I was kind of debating what to do this first episode on. There was the Splinter, Spongebob You Fired, Demolition Doofus, A Day Without Tears, Little Yellow Book, Squid's Visit. There's so many. One course meal. There's just loads. Originally I was going to go with Spongebob You Fired, but I decided, and because I couldn't actually get Spongebob You Fired to work, I'm going with Pet Sitter Pat. Now, from what I understand, this episode, if I want to call it that, was a sort of retaliation to the hate that came in for A Pal for Gary, where SpongeBob was so stupid, to the point where Gary was almost getting killed. SpongeBob blamed Gary.
Gary! You put Buffy down right now! Bad boy Gary! Bad boy! Bad Gary! Bad! I have told you and told you and told you and told you and told you.
And when the killer thing ran off, blamed Gary for it.
Well, Gary, what do you have to say for yourself?
So they made an episode to show that SpongeBob really does care about Gary. So, let's see how this goes down. So this episode was wrote by Casey Alexander, Zoo Service, and Richard Purcell. I'm not aware of the first and the third, but oh, I know Zoo Service. Not really that I want to. So this beautiful gem starts off with SpongeBob getting a letter from his grandma stating that she was getting even older this year, and then SpongeBob repeats that thing because we didn't get the point the first time, and then realises he has to find someone to watch over Gary. So the first person SpongeBob goes to is Squidward, who says that Gary ate his plants and refuses to babysit.
Oh no! No way! Look what that disgusting pest did to my sustainable kelp garden. He chewed it up, ruined it.
So the next person he goes to, Patrick. He throws open the rock and sees this.
I'm talking to my friend. Funny. Hi, Funny.
Yeah, I don't think Patrick's right in the head.
I need you to take care of Gary.
Are you going off the grid?
What?
So Patrick agrees to snail sit, I guess, and then immediately drops Gary. Oh, this can't be great. So we cut back to SpongeBob's house, where SpongeBob's taking Patrick through a list of things that he needs to do for Gary. So we already know that none of these are going to go well. As SpongeBob walks out, he repeats some of the things to Patrick, in which Patrick says that he's the most responsible person SpongeBob knows.
Don't you trust me? I am the most responsible guy you know.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah, I'm concerned that Gary's still alive with the fact that SpongeBob agreed with that sentence. So within about 10 seconds of SpongeBob leaving, Patrick throws away the list and blames SpongeBob's handwriting, even though he was holding it upside down. So he actually starts off by seeming like a decent sitter.
Oh, I know. Let's go for a walk.
But then his stomach churns because he was eating a load of crisps and he runs to the bathroom. So it cuts ahead, I assume, a few hours later, or maybe it was a couple seconds, maybe that's what this is. But he comes back and Gary's starving. Yep, definitely a couple hours. So he gets Gary's food and eats it all in front of him.
Ooh, let me try a bite of this.
Brilliant! We cut to SpongeBob's grandma's house where SpongeBob's worrying about Gary. So he calls up Patrick, who says that Gary's doing oh so fine, and SpongeBob reminds Patrick to give Gary a bath. Oh boy, this is where the episode gets great. So Patrick takes Gary into the kitchen under his stinky shitty armpit and puts him on the counter where he fills up the sink, and then pours Gary's food into the sink.
I gotta get the water to stay in there somehow.
Have you ever heard of a plug, you stupid moron? So the food dissolves and Gary fights back. I think Patrick doesn't seem to be in any pain, so this is a crappy little joke. Yeah, this episode's full of crappy little jokes like this. If you wanted to do this plot right, you should show Patrick in a bit of pain. Or better still, every time he tries to do something that's not good to Gary, he gets pain for it. That's how you do this right. So, Gary attacks Patrick and then runs off. And then we get to the worst bits of the episode. Yeah. Patrick decides that in order to outsmart the snail, he has to be smarter than the snail.
Wait a minute, Patrick. You gotta trick the snail. You gotta be smarter than him.
Oh, Patrick, easier said than done. Well, easy said, impossible for you, I guess. So he comes in and...
I got something cool to show you. And it's the opposite of a wet, watery bath. Check it out.
What? Oh, okay. So, this guy is meant to be good? Patrick's meant to be a good guy, yet we've just learned that he would kill Gary with his incompetence. Okay, maybe he wouldn't kill Gary. Maybe he was just doing this to scare him. Okay, then. Right. So Patrick chases Gary throughout the house, and then brings in a garden hose, which he sprays Gary with, and then pours some soap flakes to bring the bath to him. So then we see Gary on his back, I guess. Alright. In which Patrick comes in and says,
Oh, now I gotta dry you off. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any salt, so I'll have to use the next best thing.
What? What? Okay. That's fucked up. No, seriously. Okay, I know they're just saying it and that we'd never actually see Patrick do that, but you're saying that Patrick would. Okay, let's just ignore this for the moment. So, after some shenanigans go down back at SpongeBob's grandma's house, the house ends up getting flooded because of the sink being left on earlier and the bath being destroyed. And SpongeBob calls up the house to see how they're going, in which we get SpongeBob worrying about Gary. Okay, that's certainly a little bit of an improvement. So SpongeBob runs home to find his house completely destroyed. He doesn't seem to notice very much, as his only concern is on Gary's safety at the moment. So he runs upstairs and...
Ah, reading Patrick a bedtime story, I see.
What? Why? But... there's no way that Gary would be doing this. This is crap. This episode is crap. It makes no sense, and it just proves to me that Patrick is an incompetent asshole who would kill people with his stupidity, which I'm very willing to believe now. So, oh boy, okay. Now it's time to have another little look at this episode and where I put it on my shitty shit scale. This here is where I decide where things go, or where these shitty little episodes go. I'm going to quickly point out, the biggest pile of shit it could go is this black space right here. That if it's maybe just bad, if it's just on the border of bad, it goes on dark green. So, where am I putting Pet Sitter Pat? I'm putting it here. Simply because although it's just a horrific episode that isn't funny and the plot's been redone many, many times, and it just proves to me that Patrick's pretty much a sociopath, there are worse things out there, things that would actually show Patrick pouring salt onto a snail. I'm sure they'll get to it eventually. The way this series is going, they'll get to it eventually.